Carol on Creativity. I'm Carol Peters, and we are at the lovely home of Andrea and Jim Habing. Our show is going to be shot from here because I was at a party and I saw this beautiful, beautiful piece of artwork in their home, and I talked about it, and I wanted to do something that we could all do at home on a smaller version that would be very simple. So we are going to do collage and mixed media today, and the inspiration came from this beautiful painting of Andrea's and Jim's. And welcome, and thank you for inviting us into your lovely home. It's exciting to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. This is great. Let me tell you a little bit about the collage behind us. This was something that actually my husband ended up buying at a mini auction, and we really didn't even know what we were getting, but he ended up talking to the artist and commissioning this piece, and really it's a representation of our family, the Habing family. We have pieces on it showing my daughter as a dancer, sushi, our favorite food, Venice, our very favorite city in the world. Everything on this collage, even a piece of vintage Habing family stationery is on there. Things that are really important to us have all been represented, and it's really hard to kind of narrow that down. But between Jim and the artist, and her name was Elizabeth Adenolfi, she's out of Campbell, I think they did a great job.
It's absolutely fabulous. And we're going to try our version right now. And actually, we have a couple friends inside in the kitchen, and we're going to get together, and we're going to have a glass of wine, assemble our pieces, and you can do the same thing at home. You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. All right, now we're in the kitchen, and I see all the ladies are here with all of your wonderful, wonderful supplies and ready to go. So I'm going to have you introduce yourselves.
I'm Pam Martin, and I'm going to be doing a collage about my family and the things we like to do together.
Hi, I'm Andrea Habing, and we're going to be putting together a collage pretty much about Buenos Aires, Argentina. In fact, Carol and I had a chance to go there together not very long ago, focusing on Recoleta Cemetery and some other places in Argentina.
Hi, I'm Kristin Bright, and my project turned into a little tribute to my daughter Lauren, who's turning 14 soon, and my husband Dennis, and they both share a passion for horseback riding.
Well, we all got together at the Gilroy Foundation actual fundraiser, which Pam, you were in charge of, and it turned out lovely.
Thank you.
It's fabulous. And so we just had a little bit of like withdrawals after it was over. So we decided we needed to get together and have a little wine and a little party and actually make something really, really beautiful. So what we're doing today is actually a collage project, and I'm going to show you an example. This is a collage that I did for my daughter Nicole, and I had her little journal from her honeymoon, and I thought how cool to just make her something that she could hang on the wall or whatever. And I started out by painting a picture of a palm tree and, you know, the water and the sunset. And then in here, and you can do this as well, I photocopied pictures and memorabilia out of her actual book, and then just started gluing around all around, leaving this as a focal point, because you do need to have a focal point. The canvas was painted first, and we'll show you exactly how to do that. I want to show you a couple other examples, and they are behind me. This is Kristin Sozman's son, and Kristin has does my hair, and she actually lent these to me, and they're beautiful. Her sister-in-law did them, and just cut pictures of her son out, and went to Michael's and got some really nice paper and assembled them that way. So we have those. These are small cards that Shirley Willard made, and they're just assembled from scraps of paper and little bows and whatever you want. And how lovely to send somebody a card that you actually made yourself and took some time to do. So it's really easy, easy, easy. You don't have to be an artist or just, you know, there's some tips though that you need. Everything is really, really basic. White glue. We used acrylic paint, which I poured out, and these are my old friends, acrylic, because they don't move when they're down. And a couple brushes. I did some stamping on mine. Some people use glitter, cutting things out of magazines. If you have a thick picture, say of your grandfather that you really don't want to cut up, photocopy it. I mean, we have technology now. I ran things off the printer from the internet, and actually the old postcards on Nicole's collage was just taken from the internet. So I'm going to show you how to actually put down the acrylic on the background so that you can see how we did that. And I'll stack this up. I just poured a little bit of acrylic out, and actually Andrea's canvas was done this way, and I thought it was a nice color because hers is completely done. I'll just show you on this paper. What you do is you take two colors. I always use two colors because it's richer, it's more, it gives you more intense color. A little bit of water, you don't really need a whole lot. Dip your brush in both colors, okay? I'm using a phthalo blue and a phthalo green because both the blue has a little green in it, the green has a little blue in it, and so that's kind of, you get that teal look. And what we did is just take this, and you can see the two colors here, the blue and the green, and if you just go back and forth like this, you get some beautiful mix of color. And that's what Andrea did on her canvas, covering the whole thing, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you want to use it like a wash, which is just diluted color, you can do that as well. So we took just a basic artist canvas, that's just a white canvas like this, stretched, and painted it so that it's completely covered, and then let it dry. Once it's dry, you can glue on it, you can do anything you want to it. That color is not going to move, so it's going to be very, very permanent. And then you can just go crazy. You can put whatever you want. So I'm going to have each lady explain a little bit about what they are doing as they glue it down, and we'll go around and we'll just talk and work and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay.
Start with Pam.
Well, as I said, I did a collage of the things we like to do, and we like to garden, we like to travel, we like to eat and drink, and we like to just play and have fun. So what I did when I wanted to show some of the places we've gone, and I used a lot of flowers and outdoors because we like to be outdoors. And when I actually put the whole collage together, kind of what I thought I might be doing, I realized I was covering the whole canvas. So I just did the edges, and I picked up the greens that really was very predominant in my collage.
And I think that's what we talked about. After collecting everything and you put it all out, then paint your canvas, because that will tell you what colors stand out, and then you paint your canvas, and then it works.
And then the materials I used were simply family photos and magazines, and I cut out little sayings from magazines as well as pictures. So
it's really great. It looks
Thanks.
great. So what is your favorite picture? What was the one thing that you said, I have to have this in here?
There's a couple. I don't know. I loved both the pictures of my sons because they were so happy, and they were just happy, great moments, and they weren't some posed picture. And then I loved this picture of myself sitting by a canal in France. It was in the fall, and the beautiful fall colors and the greens and the canal, the blue of the canal.
That's a great picture.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're going to let you get started. Also, by doing this, you need to know which goes down first. So she's going to have to take this one and glue it before she puts the rest of them on top. So it's kind of like a little puzzle, and it probably won't turn out exactly that way, because by the time you start doing that, it gets shifted around. But that's cool anyway. It's always good. Honest.
I'm actually thinking about starting with the corners now. I got my strategy.
It's fun. It's really fun. You can just overlap and write on it. You can do whatever you want. Andrea, what about yours?
Mine started off with the blue and green, like you just did right there, and just covering the entire canvas. And the blue and green came from a photo that my husband has taken, which I'm using in the collage, and you can see it over there. It's these antique bottles. We're walking around Buenos Aires in this really cool antique section, and you probably remember the name of it, I don't, but the colors were so intense and so beautiful. I thought that was a really good start for my collage. And I am using a picture similar to that, just a different size and shape, which printers nowadays, you can pretty much print out whatever you like to use. The other thing that I thought was really helpful is taking a picture of your collage once you kind of get it laid out like that, and then you can put it on your computer screen, or you can have it so that you can actually kind of duplicate what you actually put down, because I know that as soon as I start working with this, it's going to get to be a big mixed up mess. A lot of the pictures that I've been using came from my husband. He's kind of a photographer. He thinks he's a photographer.
He's
very good.
great. His
He's pretty
pictures
good.
were fabulous.
And so some of these pictures we used from there. Some of them I used from a book that I actually bought at the Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I used some duplications. I just Xeroxed out of the book, which work out great because then if you mess up, you can just Xerox again. And so that's what I'm going to be putting together. I've used some rosary beads and some dried flowers because part of this is Eva Perón. She's actually a Duarte. She was buried at that Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires, and she had a beautiful crypt. And just researching a little bit about her, she loved to wear the flowers. So the flowers, the dried flowers, or the fabric flowers that I thought kind of lent to the whole theme of Buenos Aires and Argentina and Recoleta and Eva Perón.
And since you have a funeral home, now, I mean, we went through the cemetery not having any connection with that, and it was like the most unbelievable place. It was like huge streets and houses, and there was a lot of joy there, and I think that's picked up there. It's kind of strange, but didn't you feel that? It was very peaceful at the same time. There was lots of flowers, and there was the caring of the people, and it was just a wonderful feeling, and I think you really depicted that well.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. There's some of the crypts there were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some of the pictures show that.
Neat. Well, I was trying to figure out when I laid out my pictures what was going to be my theme color for the canvas. And what came up was the red, because we have a horse ranch and we have sort of an iconic red barn, and that's picked up in a few of the pictures. So did a little red and brown border, found some really neat pattern paper at Michael's that I'm going to use in the middle here. And then I have a combination of some black and whites and some color pictures. Some of the black and whites are some studio shots that we did of our daughter Lauren, who's turning 14 next month. And then I have some candids of color candids that I've taken. I have kind of a hobby of photography. I love it. So I've combined them, and I'm going to put them on the canvas here. Dennis and Lauren both love horseback riding. We have 3 daughters, but our middle daughter has just taken to being a ranch girl. And so when I was thinking about this project, it just came to my mind that it would be fun to do this as a tribute to her and the passion that she's sort of inherited from her father. So I have a cool old worn horseshoe that I'm going to put on there, some keys, this little frame that has a picture of Dennis galloping at full speed with some flags, and it's a motion shot. So it's all going to get on there, and hopefully it'll all stick.
Yeah, and we were talking about how to stick it, and we were thinking glue gun. For today, you're going to use a white glue, but there's a lot of real, very, very secure ways, and you could even sew it through. I have artist friends that actually rip canvases and stitch it. So you could actually take a needle and stick it through that horseshoe.
That might be the
and also the corners of your frame as well.
Uh-huh.
So there's, you're not going to ruin an art piece. Art is just whatever you can.
Yeah.
How you make it work sometimes becomes the most interesting thing of the piece.
Right.
Okay, so for mine, I did Nicole's, and then my inspiration was, I did this old Garlic Festival ticket, and this is a copy of the original ticket in, I don't know when it was. It was 1981. And we have 33 years of the Garlic Festival. This is 30 years old. I hand drew all these little garlics. I hand lettered all this stuff. And it had a string that went through this paper ticket, and people would hang it on their belt. And as they went around, everybody, like the old AT&T,
Right.
the Bing Crosby, it was kind of like that, right? So this was an actual ticket, and I didn't have one. One of my friends gave it to me. They were cleaning out, and they said, "Do you want it?" I go, "Oh my God!" So this gave me the idea. So I had that, and I thought, okay, now what do I do? And then I've done artwork for forever and ever. This is an airbrush piece that I did. It's a copy. This is a garlic that I painted, and then I glued on a photograph I took of garlic, and then I yesterday went back over it with a paint pen, which is another great thing. These are garlic martini glasses because I did that for the cook-off stage one year. And then everybody wanted them and ended up making many, many, many. So that was hours of hundreds and hundreds later, all my friends. And then I said, limited edition, no more. This is a garlic, an old pen and ink one I did a long time ago. I took a photograph. And then what I'm using is just these pieces of, they're actually sticky, but I'm just going to stick them down. So on my canvas, what I did is I looked at these colors, because once you have your colors down, and I thought, I just want an old antique looking one. So I brushed on red and black on the canvas, and then I couldn't get the gold acrylic to really stick, so I used spray paint. And I actually made this out of, I'll show you. I'm going to show you this one because it's kind of cool. You can see these are raised, and I actually stamped garlic into a modeling paste, and then I sprayed it with gold, which I thought was really, it turned out really good. I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but it worked. Okay, so this is modeling paste, and let me get a surface that's dark. I'll just pull this over. Excuse me. I know where these go. Mine's super easy. So bear with me while I move this. All right, this is modeling paste. And I had a palette knife. I think it's over there, Pam, if you can grab it or somebody. This is, you can buy these mediums, and they're all kinds of mediums, and they're all kinds of strengths, and they do all kinds of wonderful things to your paint, but you can also use them alone. This happens to be a real thick modeling paste, and you can build your surface up on a painting. You can take this and mix it with color. You can do anything you want with it. It totally gets exciting because you want to try all this stuff. I had never done this before, and this takes overnight to dry. That's why I'm not showing you actually on there. So what I did is I measured off what I had here, and I knew I had these two little blocks. So I actually put this down just like frosting, okay? And you have to get enough of it, and this is going to take a while to dry, so. I just put about that much on, I guess is good. And I spread it out, and I thought, just try this because it might work. And actually, I liked what happened. So you put the modeling paste down. Then I cut a garlic in half, and it kind of fell apart. But see how nice that is? It really is neat. So then I just took the garlic, and some of it broke off. So I actually made my own side to it and I stuck it in there like that. And it doesn't look like a garlic when you pull it out. It's like, oh, yeah. But it is, you know? So you take it up, and see how it has all that little stuff that is sticking through? It's all the stuff in the garlic. And then because it didn't have the other side, I just made my own version of it and stuck that down. And then it had these long pieces I tried to just stamp in there. And you can also go back and actually, you know, draw them if you want to. And then once this dried, and actually it took probably overnight, I went back and I was trying to get something to stick that was gold, and I actually sprayed it. And then I took a sponge and I just antiqued it a little bit. So that's how that happened. Thanks.
Very cool, yes.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So I think we can just get started and just start gluing and talking and, you know, doing whatever we're going to do. And as we go, we'll talk about, you know, maybe the center of interest, the colors that we picked, how they're working, and go from there. And, you know, these can be wonderful gifts. I mean, when you make something yourself and give it to somebody, it puts your heart into it, and people so appreciate it because now everything is just so fast.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, no one even goes a lot of times to the stores. They go online and they just order and it's sent.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not even personal anymore. So when you take the time to do something like this, you're giving of yourself. Because you had to stop and think about the person, you had to think about what you know, pick things out. And I think the most important thing is when you start doing these, you start with, first of all, the idea, and then you look for something that's usually larger than anything else because you have to have a focal point. So something in your collection is going to be the piece that really stands out. So in yours, which one do you think is your focal point?
The middle one, which I thought I would place first, but actually I'm finding that I need to place it last so that it's perfectly placed as a focal point. So I'm kind of working all around the outsides in. But I definitely the middle one with the big tree and the picnic table set for dinner or lunch.
And then, of course, your green dress picks it
my
up.
green dress, yes.
You know, so there was a whole lot of green, but this is your focal point because it's where your eye goes first. It has the most, you know, it's bigger than anything else, and it's visually the most attractive. So if you have everything the same size, you're going to be kind of like, I don't want to look at this; it's too much. And Andrea, what do you think your focal point is? I'm done.
My focal point is going to be this angel right here. And this is,
It's beautiful.
you know, originally I thought it was going to be the bottles, the pictures, you know, with all the bottles on it, similar to the one over here. But as I worked with it, I realized that was more kind of blending into the background and some of these other things. I think these two, this one I thought was going to be it, but really this is going to be at the center of the piece.
And you know, it's neat. It's almost like night and day, because that one angel is so dark, and then the other one is light, and is sweet and innocent, and the other one's really powerful and strong and bold. And it's beautiful having a little bit of that blue coming through too, because our bottles are just fabulous.
I love those colors.
The color just is amazing. And each person had a different, like yours, Kristin, you have such heavy stuff on it, so you had to have it simple.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm trying to decide what's my focal point here. I think I started with this one black and white where she's actually roping, and when the photographer captured her in mid-rope. And then I'm building around that with different
I'm going to take a look at it
shots.
too, because I think and we're talking about the elements of design and composition right now, and the center of interest is your focal point. So what you have here is you have a lot of circles. Repetition is another thing that you need to have to make something cohesive.
Right.
So you have the circle here, you have the circle here. You even did this wonderful little
Oh yeah, that'll be going on.
this rope, which is repetition of this. So you have actually taken this kind of circle and repeated, and that gives it a real cohesive feeling as well.
Right.
Even your color is repeated because the red goes throughout, and it's almost like all American, like the cowboy you know is all American. So
Definitely, yeah.
it's like red, white, and blue,
Right.
and just
Very
real
patriotic.
strong. And I think your focal point is the black. Because you really do look in like, you're going to have this black, so you're
Down
looking in,
here.
and then she's kind of framed by the black. So it's very beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
And let's see, what about yours? Where's your focal point up? Your focal point is
Focal point is not down yet.
on there.
This is actually taken from the Mercury News. This was something that was last Saturday in the Mercury News. A lot of people are really interested in some of the cemeteries, and they're going out and doing, what do you call it, rubbings,
Oh,
and that kind
yeah.
of thing. So they're talking about different hobbies, and of course it was Halloween, so they're kind of
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, awesome.
That-
And that's kind of a great shot with the lady's head going through that angel. That's nice.
Isn't that cool?
It's awesome. And then you have this whimsical sandal that's kind of just adds that wonderful color.
Well, we were also in Brazil for the trip, so but everywhere you went, Brazil or Argentina, the Havaiana they're
Yeah.
here, really popular. And this was kind of just an artistic impression of the Havaiana flip-flop. So we had
And that gives a nice visual relief to a lot of the gray, because you picked up some color and then you repeated it over there. So what you have is you have the nice bright colors and then a lot of this nice tranquil gray going through it.
Right.
So you're repeating those colors, and also you're repeating images and the angels over and over and over again. So I love that. And also the squares in the door and in that door and in the keys of the piano. So these things are just standard to everything you do, is the repetition, the center of interest, trying to tie the color together. There's a lot of things that really bring a piece together. Now mine is done, if it doesn't slide off there.
Oh, look how pretty.
And I'm not sure.
I love the gold.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think it's going to slip, but these need to be. I'll glue the edges better later, but. So I think this turned out pretty well. I mean, I like it. I used a glitter paper behind this to just kind of punch it up a little bit. Used everything from acrylic to spray paint to molding paste, the glue, very simple tools. You know, you can have your children do these with things that they love. And actually, one of the projects that I did with some kids at the playground is we had a big piece of butcher paper. We had them lie down on it, trace around them, and then fill it with everything they loved.
Yep.
They loved it. And they cut everything out of the magazines. And
Oh, they jump up and they look down and they go, oh, that's me. Yeah.
that's fun. So if you're doing any kind of a, you know, thing with kids, I mean, that's hours of good time spent. Okay, what I want to tell you is another thing, is if it's bubbling right away because it's wet, let it dry and it'll dry flat.
It will? Okay.
Yeah, it will. And also, if you use my secret solution, it's not going to bubble. If you,
That's why I was dipping this
Yeah,
in
if
the
you-
water and making a little.
yeah, and
but
if you paint it on, but some people want to just rub it and rub it and rub it. You're stretching your paper, and then what'll happen is you'll get more of a bubble.
Oh, I was doing that.
Don't.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, ladies. This has been a wonderful, wonderful occasion and afternoon, and enjoyed having you on the show. And I think we should do this all the time. Thank you,
Cheers.
Andrea, for opening your lovely home to us and showing us the inspiration piece. And thank you very much to the Gavilan Television crew, Marilyn Abad Cardinelli, Joe Cardinelli, and all the awesome people that are here today filming. Love you guys. So for Carol on Creativity, we're going to say, ciao for now. Woohoo!